Last video, I told you the next one was going to walk through the exact trap in section L subsection 6 that throws out the small business proposals before they ever get evaluated. I owe you a correction. It isn't one section, it's three things inside section L. And it's a cousin of FAR 52.212. The government treats and make as a make or break. Most small businesses don't know any of them until after they've already lost a bid to one. I'm David with DeployReady. Let me show you all three with real cases so you never lose to one of these. Quick reset for anyone who didn't catch the last video. Section L of the Federal Request for Proposal, or RFP, is a section titled Instructions, Conditions, and Notices to Offers. That's the exact language from the Federal Acquisition Regulation, or FAR. Part 15.204-1, Section L, is where the government tells you what to submit, how to format it, when to send it, and where to send it. For commercial item solicitation, meaning most simplified acquisition buys under about $7.5 million, there is no Section L at all. The equivalent lives inside a single FAR clause, 52.212-1, Instructions to Offers, Commercial Products, and Commercial Services. Same job, different wrapper. Whichever version you're reading, this section is where the auto-disqualifiers live. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to walk through all three most common traps inside Section L and 52.212. All three are cited in real GAO bid protest decisions. All three show up in the last 12 months of small business posts on the internet, on Reddit, wherever you could think of. None of them are about the strength of your technical work. Here they are. 1. Formatting is material, not cosmetic. 2. Late is defined by when the government receives it, not when you sent it. 3. Amendments override what you already wrote, and most small business teams don't check for them. We'll recap at the end. Trap number 1 is the one that feels the most unfair because it sounds cosmetic. It isn't. Here's the case. Horizons Youth Services, Government Accountability Office Decision B-423-202 decided in 2025. The Department of Labor issued a solicitation to run the Cascades Job Corps Center in Washington State. Section L named 4 allowed fonts: Times New Roman, Arial, Garamond, and Calibri. It also set a 50-page limit on Volume 1. Horizon submitted 50 pages in Arial Narrow. The contracting officer noticed Arial Narrow is denser than Arial. The contracting officer estimated that by using Arial Narrow, Horizons had squeezed in the equivalent of 10 additional pages of content compared to Arial, and at least 3 additional pages compared to Garamond, the densest of the 4 permitted fonts. The Department of Labor threw the proposal out. Horizons protested. GAO denied the protest. The written decision said this, and I'm reading this directly. The RFP established material mandatory proposal preparation instructions, and the protesters' violation of which allowed it to attain an unfair competitive advantage by including content in excess of the permissible page limitations. Material, mandatory, not cosmetic. That's the case that makes it real. Here's what businesses actually get wrong day to day. From the last 12 months of forum posts on the internet for disqualification write-ups that people mentioned, one of them was 11-point font when the solicitation said 12. Margins at 0.9 inches when it said 1 inch, which quietly adds pages. Submitting a Word doc when the solicitation said PDF only. Volume 1 labeled technical when the solicitation said technical approach. Line spacing at 1.0 when it said 1.15. Every one of those is a real disqualification path. None of them require the government to read your technical content. How do you fix it? Before you write anything, open Section L or 52.212-1 and pull every formatting rule into one-page checklist. Font name, font size, line spacing, margins, page limit, file format, volume labeling, and file naming convention. If any rule is unclear, ask during the questions and answer period. That's what it's there for. That question is free. It'll save you a lot of headache. Trap number 2 is the one that shows up the most often on Reddit because it hurts the most. I pulled quotes from Reddit exactly for this. These are real small business owners describing real losses. 1. The connection dropped on the portal at 4:52 p.m. Deadline was 5 p.m. Got rejected. 2. File was too big. Uploaded a compressed version at 4:59 p.m. It was rejected. Emailed it 2 hours before the deadline. The server queued it. They received it at 5:02 p.m. It was rejected. Here's the rule that catches all three. FAR 52.212, paragraph F, titled Late Submissions, it says an offer is late if the government receives it after time and date set in the solicitation. Not when you sent it, when they got it. The subclause that catches most businesses is 52.212 in section F for electronic submissions. If a solicitation is silent about the exact time, the deadline defaults to 5 p.m. local time, 1 working day before the day offer is due. Not the day it's due, the working day before. Read that again. If the RFP is due Friday and doesn't specify a time, your electronic submission has to be in by 5 p.m. on Thursday. Most businesses read due Friday and submit Friday morning. Gets rejected. Under sister clause FAR 52.215-1, which applies to negotiated procurements, the government has almost no discretion here. Late is late. There are 3 narrow exceptions, and one of them requires you to prove the delay was under government control. So how do you fix it? 1. Read the exact language of the submission clause in every RFP. Never assume. 2. Plan to submit no later than 24 hours before the stated deadline. Not 2 hours, 24. 3. If the portal fails, screenshot the error, note the timestamp, and email the contract officer immediately. That paper trail is the only thing that gives you a shot at the government cause delay exception. Trap 3 is a silent one. It kills the most first-time small businesses bids, and it's the hardest thing to see coming. Federal solicitations get amended, sometimes once, sometimes 6 times. Amendments do 3 things. They change the due date, they answer questions submitted during the question and answer period, and they modify the solicitation itself, including section L or 52.212. Here's what happens to small business teams. You download the solicitation Monday, you start writing. Thursday, the contracting officer posts Amendment 3 on SAM.gov. Amendment 3 tightens the page limit from 30 to 25. You don't check. You submit 30. That equals non-responsive. Or worse, Amendment 3 posts a new question and answers that says the file naming convention in section L 4.2 is corrected to read company _volume _solicitation number. You submit it with the original naming convention equals non-responsive. The reason this catches so many businesses is that SAM.gov does not push notifications reliably. You have to check the solicitation page manually or set up an interested vendor watch, and even that is not always dependable. So how do you fix it? 1. Every solicitation you're actively bidding, check SAM.gov at least once a day, and again in the morning of submission. 2. When you find an amendment, don't just skim the cover page, read the whole thing. Compare it against your existing compliance matrix, which you should have one. 3. Acknowledge every amendment inside your proposal. There's usually a block under the standard form 1449 or SF33 for this. Missing an acknowledgement is itself a disqualifier. 3 traps, here they are again. 1. Formatting is material, not cosmetic. Geo decision, Horizons View Services, B-423-202 says font size, margins, line spacing, file type, file name, all of it enforceable. 2. Late is defined by when the government receives your submission, not when you sent it. The FAR default deadline for electronic submissions is 5 p.m. the working day before the due date. Plan to submit 24 hours early. 3. Amendments override what you already wrote. Check SAM.gov daily on any live bid. Acknowledge every amendment inside your proposal. Master just those 3 things, and you eliminate the top formatting, submission, and version control disqualifiers before your technical work is ever read. I built DeployReady because I got tired of watching small businesses lose to bids just because of problems in Section L and 52.212. Italian plain English, but nobody has time to extract. DeployReady reads every solicitation you upload. It pulls the formatting rules into a checklist. It formats the submission deadline and the working day before rule. And it watches SAM.gov for any amendments so you don't miss one at 3 p.m. the day before you submit. If you want to try it, the link is in the description. Free tier lets you run one of those solicitations end to end. Next video, we're going to go one layer deeper. How to read Section M so you actually write the proposal the evaluator wants to score, not the one you think they want. Hit subscribe and I'll drop it next week. Comment below with the disqualifier that cost you the most. I read every one and I'll respond. Please like. Thanks for watching. See you next time.